Another one bites the dust. Another one bites the dust. Was I supposed to sing there?
Yeah, you were.
Okay, sorry.
That's all right. Little help from wife. Little help from all backup singing from wife. Let me tell you a secret. She couldn't hold a key, a tune, if her life depended on it. Not that I'm the greatest thing you ever laid eyes and ears upon. I'm trying to think of that song. It's called Blurry, I think. It was an old kind of rock song from, I don't know if it was 90s or early 2000s. Everything's so blurry, nothing seems to know. My whole world surrounds you, tumble then we fall. Know that song? My wife will sing that in the same key the entire time. And as soon as the song comes on, she's like, alright, I can't even sing it. I won't even try. Because you're just going to laugh at me. I'm like, yeah. I was like, come on, just do it. I'll have to hear it. I have to hear you do it. It's been too long. No, I'm not going to make fun of me. I'm not making fun of you. I'm just, I love it. It's like your thing. Do it. No. Man, come on. Come on, Cletus. So, wolfstreet.com. Sears Canada bites the dust. Brick and mortar meltdown. Sears Canada hired the same leading bankruptcy advisory firm on June 12th that had represented Target Canada in its insolvency proceedings. 10 days later, it filed for bankruptcy protection to restructure its capital and its operations, shutter dozens of its 225 stores, and lay off nearly 3,000 employees, but planned to continue operating. Today it said that the restructuring efforts failed. Failed in that it would seek court approval to liquidate, shutting all its remaining stores and laying off its remaining 12,000 employees. The North Pole, Papa Elf. Yeah, okay. Yep. So hold on. This is Canada. This is Canada, not USA. So we're having retail problems, closing stores, yada, 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 yada. Canada is not the US, but it is a Western civilization. And it too is facing the same problems we are and having the same responses that we are. So about those unemployment numbers and how great the economy is and GDP is going to pick up and tax cuts for everybody and it's going to, rejuvenate, the economy's coming back. Retailers are notoriously difficult to restructure once they're this deep in trouble after years of losses. And literally, earlier today, Frank and I, lunch. Frank's back from vacation. We were talking about some things, and I was explaining to him I'm doing all these videos this year, especially Ford letting go 20,000, GM the other day 10,000, this one, that one's closing, Toys R Us bankrupt. We just had the discussion today, and here I find this evening to talk about. Oh, Sears Canada. Oh, unbelievable. Once they're this deep in trouble after years of losses, they own few assets and are burdened with debts as everything has been sold or pledged to creditors. Their suppliers, who've been burned too many times, are getting skittish. Lenders are getting desperate, and acquirers can be impossible to find. Most retail bankruptcies start out as restructurings, but end as liquidations. To stay alive, I'm staying alive, while losing money for years, Sears Canada has sold off most of its real estate holdings. And the most valuable assets are already gone. What's left are 1.1 billion Canadian dollars, or 880 million US, in liabilities. See, companies can't exactly say For example, like the United States does, we've got $1.4 trillion in student loan debt, which we call an asset. You see, a company can't really do, I mean, they can cook their books one way or the other, but they can't have something like this massive credit card payment that's owed and say, that's an asset. No, you owe that money. Yeah, but it's an asset. I say, I can't do that. We can only do that in America. The government anyways. Ridiculous, but, just thought I'd throw that out there, a little bonus. The company deeply regrets this pending outcome and the resulting loss of jobs and store closures, the company said in the statement. Pending court approval to begin the liquidation process, Sears Canada said that it would kick off liquidation sales at its store as soon as October 19th and continue through the holiday selling period. In the bankruptcy filing in June, the company spoke of its reinvention, which I remember talking about, and its brand reinvention, how it rebooted its customer experience and service standards. Remember me kind of saying it in the voice I just used, like as a joke? The little newsletter went out to all the shareholders. Newly designed site, rebooting our customer experience and service standards, and how its newly designed site built in-house by a new technology team, and some other factors would make this restructuring work. But it didn't. Today it said in a letter to employees that the liquidation is a reflection on the state of the retail market today. Sears Canada was partially spun off in 2012 from similarly struggling Sears Holdings in the U.S., which still holds a 12% stake, which they can kiss goodbye, and whose CEO, Eddie Lampert, a hedge fund manager, owns a 45% stake, in part via his hedge fund, ESL Investments. Boy, I'd hate to be a part of that. In June, after it was granted court protection, the company received the court's permission to try to find a buyer. Executive Chairman Brandon Stranzel, backed by private equity firm Blackstone Group, tried to put together an offer, pledging to keep the company operating. But Sears Canada said today that, quote, following exhaustive efforts, no viable transaction for the company to continue as a going concern was received. End quote. This confirmed weeks of speculation that those efforts were doomed. On October 4th, Sears Canada asked the court for and obtained an extension of its creditor protection until November the 7th. During the hearing, the lawyer for the retailer's court-appointed monitor, FTI Consulting Canada, told the court that the company was assessing a revised bid by Stranzel, but was running out of time and money to decide. According to CBS News, a lawyer for the lenders argued that if a proposal to buy the business as a going concern does not materialize, it is key to liquidate before the Christmas season is over to maximize the value the process can attain. Hence, the rush, and by the way, just saying, it was your pal Jason at 4 who told you, at least a couple years ago, as the retail apocalypse, all that stuff gets started, you're going to be able to step in and find fire sales. You're going to find them. Now, granted, do you remember, not all that long ago, it's been several months, H.H. Gregg going down. I told you I'm going to go over there and check out. I went over there was almost nothing on any of the shelves, but a few little things. And I did not feel under any circumstance that I was getting a discount, just to say that bluntly. But normally, there's liquidations, first come, first served, which might mean that all the reason why everything's cleaned out and there's hardly anything left is someone came in and got the fire sale. Other people came in and picked up the fire sale before I even got there. Days in advance, who knows. And anyways, hence the rush by the creditors to get the liquidation started. Then there are the pension obligations for its 6,000 retirees and 12,000 beneficiaries. The plan has a deficit of $266.8 million. A motion was filed in August to wind up the plan. It would require the company to pay the full $266.8 million, and that's Canadian dollars, to the plan, which the company does not have. And the motion also adds, the wind-up also gives rise to a payment into the plan by the Ontario Pension Benefits Guarantee Fund that would help offset the underfunding in the plan and minimize pension benefit reductions. And I don't know that they've got the money, to be quite honest with you. The motion has been postponed until at least November 30th, And that's how the once largest retailer in Canada becomes another entity in the brick and mortar retail meltdown. It remains getting picked through in bankruptcy court. Liquidation 2 for Toys R Us, which is what I was talking with Frank about today. The company filed for bankruptcy in the U.S. and Canada to restructure, but it can't solve what's killing it. Read The Fate of Toys R Us After Bankruptcy, which is a link to their other article. So yeah, very, very, very interesting, my friends. And yet we've got great economic data, the markets keep going up, everything is going to be fine. Ooh, child, everything's going to be alright. Ooh, child. I think I had that backwards. Things will get easier, and then things will be alright. And for that reason, I'm ending this right now. Take care.